it is with YouTube today. They keep kicking us, kicking the channel off, and then coming back to it again. So I apologize. It's very frustrating. Hopefully you guys can see me again. Let me know if you can. I'm gonna bring it up again here. Oh. Hi guys. Sorry, I am so sorry that this keeps happening. The YouTube keeps cutting it off today for some reason. I don't know if it's we got too many people watching at once or what's going on. I will be right back in just a second here, guys. So just bear with me here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yeah, I don't know what's going on out there with YouTube today. I apologize. It's the third time they've cut us off. Well, second time they cut us off. This is the third version. Okay, I appreciate you guys coming back on. Yes, Michael. They cut me off for a second time, and I don't know why. They did it a couple weeks ago too, and then I had no problem at all the last week or so. And now they did it again. So, and I try and monitor what's on the screen so I can see when the circle of death comes on, but it's sometimes hard to tell. I could be talking for 2 or 3 minutes before I notice. But anyway, so I got this crack taken care of, and I got got a little thing here I got to take care of still, so we're going to deal with that. But just wanted to make sure we're all back in business again. Jeez, this is crazy. I'm not quite sure why YouTube is doing this. Although I assume when you are YouTube, and you've got millions of people posting videos at all times, bandwidth and other things may become an issue from time to time. And that's possibly what the issue is maybe they just their servers can't handle all the business either, you know? That's always a possibility. There's an awful lot of demand for power and other things, and it could be that YouTube is just having the same problem that a lot of businesses do. I used to think it was because of the algorithm, because I was getting too many people watching, for the size of my channel. But my channel now has about 1,500 subscribers and thousands of hours of viewing, so I don't think that that's an issue anymore as far as the algorithm goes. So it may be more mechanical than anything else. But I think I will contact YouTube and find out what it is exactly that's causing the issue, because I hate getting people in and then losing them, and people having to try and find it again. You know, yeah, they want me taking over YouTube. That's correct. Yeah. Hey, Timber. Dave, this is my third video of the day because they keep kicking me off. So bear with us. But just for those of you that are just joining us now, I'll recap just slightly. We finished the bowl that we were doing yesterday. Get that in the screen here. This is that pear bowl. And it still has some refinement to do, but I wanted to move on to another project. But you can see it has some beautiful color to it. You wouldn't think when you look at a pear tree, you wouldn't think it looks like this, but it's a very, very dense, hard wood. Fruit trees tend to be a pretty hard wood because they have to stand up to a lot of weather conditions. And they tend to, they tend to have a lot of color to them also. So I've got a lot of cracks through here. I've got a crack that runs from here all the way across here. I've got a couple branch pieces coming in with some hazing coming out that way. I've got a little bit from the core that was down here on this sequoia. And then I've got this piece here, which I thought I had covered, but apparently it's a lot deeper than I thought it was. So I think I want to address some of that before I go too much further, just to be on the safe side. But what we'll do this time is we'll put this in here and we'll let it really get soaked in. And then we'll do the rest of it. I want it to kind of fall down in there, just in that hole just a little bit. We can do that. By the way, these are the greatest things. These Glue Master, Milescraft makes them, but there's other companies that make them too. This is the best way to do your wood glue because you can be very precise with it. All you have to do is squeeze this and it comes out, so it's easy to do. You fill this up and it lasts quite a while. Just really, really a great idea. Hi, Gerd. So, Dave, what projects are you working on today? I know you've been putting up some videos lately. Are you still doing pins, or are you going to be doing some more some actual woodworking projects to go along with your wood turning projects? Dave's quite a builder. If you don't know him, if you check out Dave, the Timber Designs, he does have some really good videos. They're a lot of fun, and he gets into a lot of different things. For that matter, so does Boondocks and Builds and New Designs, and all of them actually do. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Mike, for putting that up. Mike, you should put yours up there too. And Mike is our moderator here. Mike also has a fledgling YouTube channel site that he is working on. We keep encouraging him to put more up, but he didn't want to just put up a channel because he's too busy going out there getting really good contracts right now for big jobs. So maybe he'll share some of that work when he's on the channel, when he's doing some of those big contract jobs. We'll see. Okay. I don't know if Mims came back up with us either. Mike is making stuff. Are you still in the shop? Are you still with us, or did you have to run off? I know you're always doing something. Okay, so I'm going to work on the end here for a minute. before I move on. Give this a chance to dry just a little bit. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Got this pretty rough too. I gotta do. Let me see. The little nub doesn't want to come off. There we go. I kind of want to see where we're at here. I'm not. This is not a miter. It's not a tenon right now. I'm just kind of seeing. Yeah, see that crack goes way down in here. So I'm gonna have to encourage it to leave. Best I can. I'm not going to be able to get underneath that crack. So, all right. So I'm going to true this up, and I'm going to go at it from a different point of view. Let's see. See if I can do this. Okay. And I know I've got a little dip here still. So where are we at now? We're getting pretty close to even. Pretty close. Okay. on switch. Oops, wrong sweeper. Now, okay. Yeah, this is just not cooperating out. It's really cracked right through here. So, I'm going to have to take it down further and see if I can get underneath this crack. That's the only thing I'm going to be able to do. I didn't want to shorten the bowl if I didn't have to, but I think I'm going to have to. So, bear with me while I shorten the bowl. Still cracked in there. What do you think, guys? Scraping backwards? Push cut, I believe, yeah, then scraping backwards, yeah. I've done both. The problem is this crack, because it starts right up here and runs down here, and I just don't know how deep it is. And I really don't want to have a bowl that's cracked in the bottom. It just doesn't make for a very good bowl. I know there's some other turners out there watching. If you got an opinion here, I'm open to hearing it. Looks like we might be getting a little bit past, or I might be able to mend the rest of this. I don't know. We'll see. Let me kind of do this just to kind of things out just a little bit. Obviously, a little tiny bit of tear out. And let's see what we got here. Well, you know, the only thing I'm going to be able to do is glue this, I think. I don't think there's anything else we can do with that for now. I'm going to try and glue that off. Hi.
I got a crack.
I got a crack, and it's not the one on my body. And no cracks from the audience either, by the way. I'm going to see. I might have to super glue this, but I'm going to try the wood glue approach first. Because wood glue will go down in there. And I'm just going to have to let that set for a little bit. See if it soaks down in. That's about all I can do. It's a nice piece of wood. Yeah, if there's 200 people watching, please hit us and give us a like. This is the third video we've tried to do today because they keep cutting us off. So I would really appreciate it if you can give us a like and give us a little encouragement so maybe YouTube will stop doing whatever it is they're doing, because we're not sure what they're doing. I've got plenty of subscribers and plenty of watch time. I shouldn't be getting any kind of issues from them, but I am. So let's find out what YouTube is doing. I'm gonna put that dust on there. Let that kind of soak in. Okay. Now this is very light wood compared to that piece I was doing earlier. This is well, even with a chuck on it, doesn't weigh much more than about 1.5 pounds. I don't think, maybe a little bit more. But in comparison to what I was turning earlier, this is putting no stress at all on the lathe or on me as far as worrying about it coming off and punching a hole through my chest. Some of the pieces that you turn, you're a little apprehensive because it's a lot of wood spinning at a very, very fast rate. You can see this has some really beautiful grain to it. Like I said, this is sequoia. So it's going to look very nice. It's got some interesting things going on here. And I think while that's going, I think what we'll do is we'll work on the sides here, because this has had a chance to dry also. And we're going to try and sand this down a bit. Or actually, we'll try and smooth it out first, and then we'll try and sand it down some and get the sides kind of in shape here. Okay, so let's go for that. Meanwhile, if you can subscribe or hit the like button, I would appreciate that. Right now, that's just taking off any room to the highlight drag in there. And when you're approaching with a scraper like this, you want to approach with the heel first and wait until you start to make contact. And when you first start to make contact, that's the angle you want to stay at all the way through. The problem is if you come straight in on it, you're possibly going to get a grab. When you do it this way, you're just going to get some nice thin shavings or finishing shavings. Okay. And we'll look and see what that did, what that looks like. See there? It almost doesn't need sanding. Look how smooth that surface is. I'll try and get you a little bit closer here. But you can see that is a very smooth surface. There's nothing catching on my hands. If I was doing the old guitar test, I'd take a little nylon or something and put it across there and see if it grabs. To see how good they polish the frets. That's pretty close to a polished fret. Okay, for you guitar players out there. Has anybody ever made their own guitar or a musical instrument? I'm kind of interested to know. Whacking Shop is having a great show with rolling pins. Yeah, I know. He was turning. He said he sold. I think he mostly sold all of his turning pins, just rolling pins yesterday, the first day of the show, and he's got his lathe there, and so he's turning while he's at the show, and that is really drawing a crowd. That's a brilliant move on his part, and I mean he's just killing it. He is just absolutely killing it. If you haven't seen Mike from the Whacking Shack, you should go check him out. A year ago, Mike wasn't even really turning. We got him into, showed him a few things, and he just took it from there. I take no credit for helping him other than the fact I answered a few of his questions and got him started on the right track. But Mike did this mostly on his own, and he did a really good job of learning how to do dual ups and so forth, and patterns and so forth with the wood, and he's really done a great job with it. So kudos to him. Ryan also from 77 Rockets has been doing a lot of that, and I know Dave from Timber Designs and has been doing some pens. In fact, a lot of you guys are doing some pens now. So that's really cool. I only did a couple pins just to show a few things because I do not really enjoy doing pins that much. Although I must say, at the show I was at yesterday, I sold nearly all the pins that I had. So that was encouraging because in the past, pins are not sold really well around here. So maybe they're making a little bit of a comeback. Who knows? Okay, so now this is going to need a little refinement, and then it's going to need some sanding. So I'm going to take my negative rate scraper here, if I can find it. It's a little less aggressive. And we're going to do a little refining here. We can go a little bit faster. I'm not going to get up to Jesus level yet, but we're going to get up a little bit faster in the spinning here. We can really refine this side. Okay. I think I've gotten rid of all the tool marks and everything on there. Okay. Now we do need to do a little bit of a, yeah, I'll use this. You need to do a little bit of a edge here, so we're going to round that over just a little bit. Okay. Just give a little rounding. And I think we're going to be able to put a recessed tenon on there. We are pretty flat now, which is good. A little bit, well, no, there's a little bow right in here. I'll get a different flat edge, I think. I don't like that. Let me put this straight edge across here. Yeah, I've got a little bow in the center. So I got to take a little bit of that bow out. Okay. Let's take that little bow out. Well, I want that to dry a little bit more. That got us a little bit closer. I know it's a little bit, still needs a little bit more, but I just want to get a little bit closer on that. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to have to do it this way. This is taking a lot longer to get this straightened out than I wanted to. I think that's much closer now. You know, it's just a little bit of indent, but that's not going to be a problem. It's, yeah, it's still got that curve. Huh. Okay, well, I'm just going to have to go at it. Go ahead. Easy there. Now we are pretty flat. We are getting there. Okay. Okay. By golly, that's looking pretty good now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's going to be just a hair of a lip there. That's fine. In fact, that is smooth. So that feels really good. Okay. And we got most of that crack covered. I think that's good. That's really good. In fact, I think I'm going to just give that a little tiny touch, and then we're going to get on our way here. You see that crack has gotten much better. That's encouraging because maybe that means it doesn't go all the way through the bottom of the bowl, and we can be successful when we get to the other side. But what I want is for some of this glue to go down in there and harden just a little bit as we're turning this. Press that down in a little. that off. Again, we're giving it that little bit of rubbing. And we're going to let that dry for just a couple minutes while we do the sanding on the outside and shaping on the outside. And then when we get the shaping and sanding done, we will worry about the inside or the backside. So I'm going to round this edge just a little bit. You always want that to be a very slight and easy transition. There we go. Hardly touching anything. Just let the tool kind of do it. And we got a nice curved edge. No tear out to speak of. Good. That's just what we were looking for. And then we will sand this outside. I think I'm going to just leave it straight edges because this is a nice big bowl. We're just going to make it a kind of a U shape inside, and we will call it good. So here we are. I turn the dust collector on. What we got going over here? Okay. Hey, Dave. Now, paying attention to the end grain, I'm sure, Dave, you understand that. A little slow, back and forth here. But don't press in. You want it to just be cutting off the little fingers, little grain pieces. Here, I'm going to come and get rid of that mark, that tool mark. Fortunately, this is a soft enough wood, it will get rid of tool marks pretty quickly. And these little bitty cracks I'm not worried about because little bitty cracks will get filled with the tongue oil mixture or whatever finish mix I put in there. Love those little knots that just add so much precarity to the wood. I'm just turning this by hand with my hand wheel. I'm not turning the wood on using the motor. Just the hand wheel. Okay, good. Let's see if we can get the bottom here. Hand off that extra glue. Turn this up a little bit. this up a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, what do you think? Is that a pretty good move? Made the crack disappear. Hey Johnny, I hope you got to see that. That's one of our little tricks. We made that whole crack basically disappear from view. And now we can go to some finer sanding. Then I'll put that tenon on the bottom, and we can move on. So it stands up really nice. This wood. This is sequoia. Something that came in late. Sequoia wood. So it's a redwood. Grows mostly here in California. And it's akin to these giant sequoias, the largest trees in the world. And they can grow the size of 3 football fields. If you think about that, that's like 300 feet. And they can be massively, they can be 20 feet at the base or more. They can withstand fire. They're not fire resistant. They're fire resistant, but they're not fireproof. Okay? So there's a lot of trees that have been burned out even in the middle, and yet they still exist. They still grow. They still have new growth on the top of the limb because of the way that the food is set up through the tree system. It's a very unusual feeding system that allows nutrients to get that far up into a tree. A lot of trees die because they just can't get there because they don't have the interior artery system basically to feed themselves. Oh yeah, that is getting smooth as a baby's butt right now. And that's only at 120 grit. But I'm going to go to 240 grit here. Maybe we'll get just a little bit. Oh yeah, that is nice and smooth. Okay, we will. There we go. We'll move on to finish. Now, I'm going to have to probably make some more of my finish here before we move on because this is running out. Let's see if I have enough in here or not. I might. I'm going to have to clean this out a little bit. But definitely going to have to make some more finish before our next project, I think. Just want to make sure that's cleaned out. Get that off my fingers. All right, let's going to dust this off just a little bit before I start that because I don't want to have the finish pushing that dust and dirt into the wood. We want the profile of the wood to be as clean as possible without extra dust in it. So let's kind of do that. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, it's soaking it in really good already. Well, that dust collector fan really takes a while to slow down, which is good. I mean, it's freewheeling and it's doing what it's supposed to do. If it can spin freely, that means that it's not being inhibited by anything. It's not putting any pressure on the motor, so it will last a long time. That's good. I'm glad they made a well-balanced fan assembly for that dust collector. Here we are. And you can kind of see the color start to show up here just a little bit. And get like that. Oop, let me get that out of there. See how this is starting to look. Hi.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, this is the
Sequoia.
Sequoia.
The one from across the street?
Yep, it's the one from across the street. Guys, you can say hi to my wife. She's in here. You probably only see her feet, but that's okay.
She's the littlest thing on me, and that's big. And with this just a little bit.
Yeah, you can move that. Go ahead. So, guys, this is the color of the wood, and that's why they call it a redwood or a sequoia. Love that sound. Anybody got some chalkboard I can run my fingers across?
I found a couple patterns.
Yeah. Okay. As I said, we were at a craft sale yesterday and we sold stuff, so now there's room in the house for us to do a whole bunch more stuff. So we had to kind of justify making the space. Then there you go. There you can see what it's going to look like. See the chatoyance in here? I don't know if you can see that with the light, as the light's catching it just right. There you go. Try and get in a little closer on that. You can see that. Right in there. Okay. So now we got to put a tenon on this thing. Almost hate to mess that up. It's looking so pretty. And I do want this to kind of sit in, so I'm going to set aside for just a second here. Hey, Rocky. And Gunter. Antonio. Good to have you on board, guys. If you haven't already, please hit the like button and subscribe if you can. If you subscribe, it'll let you know that when our next live is going to be. We were doing a regular at 3 o'clock on Thursdays. I think we're going to move that back to around noontime Pacific. So that some of you folks in other areas of the world, like in Europe and so forth, it'll be evening time, but it won't be after bedtime when we're turning. So we're going to shoot for evening time, or 8 p.m. in England. So wherever your timing is from 8 p.m. in England, you can work backwards from there for your particular part of the world. But maybe we'll be the thing that puts you to sleep, or maybe we're the thing that gets you up first thing in the morning Asian Pacific or something. I don't know, but I think we're going to switch over to noontime, make it a little bit easier on y'all, a little bit easier on me too, and I'm not going to be fighting the NFL Network on Thursday nights either for the foreseeable future. Plus, there's other things that are coming up. So, see, that's going to have to wipe that off a little bit just to get a little burnish on it. Yeah, I'll do this. Let's do this. So, I don't think I need to do 1400 RPM. That was a little fast. But we're doing 1100. And I'm using a little Scotch-Brite pad here. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically just a fibrous pad. It won't scratch the surface, but it does kind of burnish the surface. These are really inexpensive. You can get them, well, in the United States, you can get them almost any grocery store. You can get them, but I'm sure overseas you can probably get them pretty easily too. 3M or some other company makes them, or some little discount stores makes them or has them. So I get a package of them from, actually I get them from Amazon. You get a whole package for just a couple bucks. And then, well, not everybody has a Dollar Tree. Oh. So, in fact, I don't think Canada has Dollar Trees, do they, Dave? Hi, David. Okay. Now that's the first finish, and that would actually take about 3 or 4 coats to be completely done. We're just going to do one for now because we want to move on for you guys a little bit. And let me get my mask on. And we will do there you go. All right. So generally speaking, I want a little bit less than this. I want it to be right about here. So I'm going to go ahead and close it all the way up for the moment. So that's a very small, it's 2 inches. It's not a very big place. So if I was to go about here, that's too much actually. Okay. Lower this down just a little bit because I want to make sure I get a good cut on that. There you go. Just a little bit. There we go. And get a little bit of that crack in there again. A nice crack I made disappear earlier. Okay, just made it a little bit larger than that. Make sure I've got my it's tearing there. I want to make sure it's not going to tear out. Otherwise, that'll blow out there. So, okay. Now, what this is going to do, not to worry, I'm just kind of evening this out a little bit. There. What I'm going to have to do is make sure that when I put this on here, I'm not just pushing straight against that. I'm going to have to kind of split that with these jaws. But the jaws do fit in there. So I think if I go about like that, yeah, I'll be able to work that out. Okay.